please pet me.
Oh,
Please pet me. Please be my friend. Please don't ever leave me.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
All righty, crossover time, Steiny with Guru.
Yeah, golf clap for you guys.
Willard and Dibs in the house.
You did a good job.
Dibs, no jacket?
No jacket. What happened on Saturday, Guru, was nothing short of an absolute calamity.
He mentioned it. He didn't tell me.
Worst round of my life. And I've played probably maybe 800 rounds of golf. And this was my 800th best round I've ever played. I found trouble early. I found trouble often. I got bad breaks. There was bad luck. The bunkers were barren and dry. I had fat shots, skinny shots, 3 putts.
Yeah, don't fat shame the shots.
Through it all.
So, go ahead.
I'm not afraid. Shout out soda. All my shots are fat until I get on the diet. But through it all,
big bone shots.
And
go ahead.
Steiny's seen me at my worst in terms of demeanor, and I heard you guys talking about it. My week off, I tune in, and you're talking about me throwing clubs. I was thinking,
I wasn't.
Well, you didn't defend me.
Yeah, well, there you
go. No, what you did say is, well, I don't like to play with people who throw their clubs. And what's lost on the audience is that you and I don't play golf together anymore, so you can connect A to B to C.
We played golf 3 Sundays ago.
No, you played in the group ahead of me. I was not in the same group as you.
All right, we can play.
If you throw your club, that could get to the group in front of you if
actually,
you're good enough.
You've seen that, and yes, I will helicopter a 5-iron, but single worst round of my entire existence.
What do you attribute it to or anything? And I'm being real. Did you get after it Friday night to where you said maybe I got, or no, it was just golf. I
played Friday and played great at a place called Coyote Moon.
Somebody asked if you guys
shot at 89. No, he had his own round going. I wasn't sure that I could play in the group round, so I had my own round set up. Played great, 89, and then Saturday morning woke up maybe a little bit sluggish. Maybe the hang was a little bit over.
All right.
But I went to the range, Goo, and I do my same warm-up every tournament, 6 shots with the wedge and then 6 shots with the 9-iron. Then I grab the driver. I'm hitting these low, shanky, line drives that the first base coach would have to dive out of the way. And I hit 15 straight on the range. And I'm like,
oh, that's the worst.
I don't know.
That's the worst.
Sign of the time.
I was oh my God.
Yeah, it's been, this is what's, and this could be golf or anything else.
Oh my God.
When you know something is between your ears, but you're aware of it, and you're like, it's between the ears. So you're like, so stop doing it. And you can't stop doing it.
It's like the nose. It's like the nose.
It's the
on
worst.
the Seinfeld.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to see the nose. I don't want to look at the nose. I can't get rid of the nose out of my
Dude, you're so right.
You're like, my mental health is off, and I know that it's off, but I can't fix it because it keeps happening.
I go to the first tee, and I'm like, forget what just happened. I hit my driver. Boom, great drive. Okay, perfect. That's all behind me. And then next shot, here's a ground ball to short. And then a low liner to left, and next thing you know, I go 8, 7, 9, 9, and it's already over.
Too late.
Mark,
it's already over.
But there's not a lot to read into. He was playing from the tees that were too long.
Too long.
And the course was set up for next week's Barracuda.
Yeah, why y'all do that to yourselves?
Well, it's just the dates.
Because but the dudes do that. Golf has got this thing where everybody's got, well, what tee do I play? If you're asking the question, move up.
It was his decision.
Move up.
Oh. False. False. It's a tourney where, based on your handicap, it tells you what tees to play.
Okay.
If you are below a 16...
But you got a bunch of people that have different handicaps, I would imagine.
We've got some scratch players, which means that they're going to be even par, and they're playing from all the way on the far back. Okay. They're playing where the pros play. These are kids who hit the ball 340, 350, so they're playing the tips. But for guys like us in the almost senior circuit, if you're underneath a 16 in the handicap, you play the combos, and if you're above a 16, you play the whites, basically.
That's nice of you to say that you're almost in that category. You are Champions Tour eligible.
No.
I just want to let you know.
We are,
you both
but...
Yeah.
I was referring to being senior citizens as a 63-year-old. So.
I got a story.
This guy, he loves to age shame. I cannot wait.
Listen, I got a year and a half left to mess with y'all. I got 18 months. 18 months left, and I'm going to use all of them.
He's an age shamer. There's a reason why he wears hats every day, because the salt now has outnumbered the pepper.
Oh, I don't mind that at all.
No, you look good.
I tell the barber all the time.
Good,
the barber, I say, I don't care what color it it is, as long as it's still there.
Yeah. No, and
Still
that's
there.
it.
You know
Still
who
there.
his barber is, right?
No.
It's Chris Berman, because his hairline is going back.
I'm gonna
back.
give
Back.
you-
It's a
That's
4.
not true.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a two.
No.
Hey, by the way,
Now put your headset back on.
That's haterade,
Yeah.
Willard.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
jealousy.
You can't force any comedian knows you
Steiny,
can't
I don't know
force.
what to do.
You're not allowed to force the audience to laugh.
Yeah,
That's a
they
no.
go for it.
That's a hard no. That's a
I
hard
was
no.
like Moses Malone. I got faux.
LeBron
That
ain't
felt
even
good
40,
coming
and I got a better hairline than him.
No,
that
look at
felt
speak and
so
talk to it. man. Talk to it.
But anyway,
Thank you.
the way the course was just set up
Brutal.
was an extra 5 strokes, basically for everybody.
Yeah, and that
Nobody
course is
put-
hard to begin
Thank
with.
you.
I know that
And then
course.
it's another 5 strokes
It's
from where
hard.
you had to
Pros,
play.
they're playing. They had a tournament this weekend.
Yeah, it's
No,
hard.
it's-
No, but
weekend
it's hard.
upcoming.
It's hard even if they don't have a tournament there, and you aren't at the tips. It's
He's
just
in a great
hard,
mood, so I know it was okay.
It was a fun weekend. Guru, I shot a 110, which normally, like on an average course, I'm between
Just horrible.
85 and 95. I'm not great, but 110 was like, my God. And I saw Steiny's text after the round, and he's like, he shot a 99. And I was
That's
like,
something to be proud of.
yes.
Wow.
Which tells you how hard this course was.
What was the last putt? Was it a tap in for the 99?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good.
Yes, it was.
I wondered
In
how
fact,
much.
par?
hold it. I parred
Oh my
18 on
God.
Old Greenwood.
Oh, jeez.
Which
Now, let
is
me tell you about
beautiful
That's a big hole.
Dude, I had a-
That's a big
hit my best shot
uphill.
ever.
That is a big boy
gotta
hole.
look.
It's like a 4-wood 195 up the hill. What are you laughing at?
It's a good par. No, that's
That
a
was
great
great.
par.
He knows the hole.
I know the hole very well. That is a very difficult
Brutal.
par.
I took a snowman and felt good about it.
I wanted to golf clap you guys
Thank you.
because my whole way
Thank
in,
you.
you had me
us?
enthralled. Yes, yes, you had healthy debate
Right.
going on, and I want to say this to you, Goo. I want to say that with regard to whether or not
I can take it,
Well,
Willard.
no,
Go ahead.
listen. Remember, we all spent months on this when it happened. Half of you want to think that they re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo last year because, hey, what a quirky, fun opportunity. This
still
really good
available.
quarterback can just be our backup, and we didn't think he'd be here, so why wouldn't we do that? And then the other half thinks this is a total hedge. You brought him in because you're just not sure if Trey Lance can play. And we've all made it clear where I totally think it was a hedge. However, I think that almost a year later, the 49ers proved that it was a hedge because they did it again. Sam Darnold's signing this year and Jimmy Garoppolo's signing last year are very similar in some ways. Now, they are dissimilar in the background story that goes along with them.
And the timing, yeah.
The timing of it. One's in free agency, one's when training camp is more than halfway over. But you are bringing in, and teams don't do this. When you have a number 3 overall draft pick and you want to give him the reins to
Right.
your team,
Yeah.
you do not bring in backpacks to hang around his shoulders. You don't do that in the NFL. To bring in big names, backups, guaranteed money, dollars, all of those things, to do that each year is absolutely telling you the same message. And I firmly believe this, and obviously they'll never say it because you just can't. The 49ers are not that into Trey Lance. They're just not that into him. To borrow the line from the movie.
okay.
They're just not that into him.
Well, okay. I'm going to jump in.
Yeah, jump in.
I hear what you're saying. Is there any part of your body that gives me a point for saying, you know what, Goo, you might be onto something? Here I go. Philadelphia in January, the way that game played out, and they ran out of quarterbacks essentially. Is there any part of your being that says, you know what, they looked around and said that will never, ever happen to us? Because how you talk about Sam Darnold, you left off. He's been unsuccessful.
No,
Product
he's not
of
a
your
great
environment.
quarterback. He's a high-level backup.
But is there
He's a big name
depth
backup.
chart that is going to come out, you think, if there's a delay with Brock, they would do that to, they're so not into Lance that Darnold would be ahead of Purdy. Of Lance. I just think that will never
I
happen.
personally reject that as something that they can publicly say, which they did. John Lynch said, oh my gosh, with these injuries, we want as many wonderful quarterbacks on our roster as possible. The reason I reject that is how on earth would they have gotten Sam within hours to say, yes, I'll come to San Francisco as a free agent when I clearly have options? There had to be 8 teams that would have loved to have Sam Darnold as their backup. Why would he say yes to the 49ers if their pitch to him was, well, we get a lot of quarterbacks hurt, so we'd like 12 of you, and you can be one of them? Sam's like, no. The only way Sam says yes is if they say, look, we got a clear path to the 2 and potentially even a few games as the 1 because our 1 is hurt right now. How else would Sam and his agent have said yes, and why?
My last thing, and I'll call it my walk-off, is when I heard every word you said, and Steiny said it, but you guys talk about, and this is no shade at Darnold, who the hell cares? Who the hell cares what he's thinking? Follow the money. And the most important facet to our organization is seeing if this guy, even if we're sour on him or we think he can't play, we got to see what Lance can do. Why all of a sudden sealing the deal with Darnold supersedes what Lance is going to be in those 3 draft picks? So that's why I'm like, if I'm the Niners, I need to find out, and we may already know, but the world's going to see it, if Lance can play.
It's
not about Darnold, who's a dump truck at this juncture. It's not about what we got to kiss his ass to get him on board.
I think they feel like they know.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station. The other thing is, Darnold has nothing to do with last year. They went through 3 quarterbacks last year. The reason they had no chance against Philly was because they had to go with their 4th stringer,
and
Josh Johnson.
He didn't stay in there either.
Exactly.
They had to go with their 5th.
So if the same thing happens next year or this year, there's going to be somebody quarterback in the 49ers that we don't even know who they are right now.
That's totally possible.
Well, they would have to come up with a 4th because if you keep Sam and Trey, you're not going to put Brandon Allen on the practice squad. He won't survive there.
You'd think he would get picked up.
I would imagine. Yeah, so then you'd have to go and find a 4th if you needed a 4th. But to me, Goo, it's what Mark was saying and what I've kind of been saying all along is that they already know what they know about Trey Lance. I don't think that they're waiting to see Trey Lance in any setting to be able to say, whoa, there's something we didn't know. I think Kyle Shanahan already knows that Trey Lance is not good enough to be his guy, even if Brock Purdy's not ready. And if that's the case, and Trey Lance goes elsewhere and plays great and is a star quarterback, then Kyle was wrong for giving up on him. And if he doesn't go anywhere and doesn't ever play and be a starter, then Kyle was wrong for drafting him. Either way, it's going to be egg on Kyle's face if Trey Lance is gone.
Dibs, what about if Shanahan believes that Trey Lance can't be the quarterback right now?
That's fine, and that's kind of where the Wiseman-Warriors thing fits in terms of, did the Warriors give up on Wiseman because they didn't think he could ever be anything anywhere or right now? And I think that the 2 teams, and we're going to get into this, and we're going to even add in the Giants in terms of young players and teams in the championship window, because the Giants, they're in a championship window to the extent that they're a playoff team.
It's baseball.
And it's baseball.
You can't.
And the Niners have an unbelievably good core, and they're expected to be a championship team. And the Warriors are just 1 year removed from being a championship team. So is it a Warriors-Wiseman thing, or is it completely different? Because the Warriors gave up on Wiseman because either A, they didn't believe in him ever, or B, they didn't believe in him now. So where are the Niners with Trey Lance if they give up on him?
It's such an interesting comp, and I do think there's so much overlap. I'll also say this, though. I do think... and we know teams can only say certain things publicly, right? You're not going to ruin a guy's career. You're not going to rip him on the way out the door. You're not going to lower his trade value if you're trying to trade him. So when you look at Wiseman and Lance, the way the Wiseman thing ended, the Warriors' sort of public statement was, look, he needs reps, and we don't have those reps to give him. We think he's going to be great, but we just don't have time for that here. The 49er Lance thing may end up the exact same way.
Exactly.
And they may say the exact same thing. And I will buy about 70% of what they're saying. And here's why. Even though both players at this juncture still have had very little on-court or on-field experience, both players were around the team in the system and practicing for 3 years. Yeah. That's a long time. You got to show something at some point. even if it's been stunted by injury, they've been around these players for a long time, so they'll never say it publicly, but I don't think you deal those guys unless you are, at best, hesitant about where it's going.
If both go elsewhere, who has a better career? Because we know Wiseman has gone elsewhere, and Wiseman has been... He's been all right.
Yeah. I just tweeted a 5-minute video clip of him in a Detroit uniform with nice little music band.
He went to Summer League, right?
Yeah,
and
he
good for him.
lighted up on fire.
Man, that's fine.
I don't think there's any doubt that the Warriors absolutely believed at the end that Wiseman was not going to be great.
Right.
And how do you define great? Let's say just like the top 3 players on a good team.
Well, if you're
let's
great,
say top 2.
If you're great at 7-1 with his skills, you're 18-11.
I mean, the bottom line is,
that to me is
if Wiseman was going to be great at 25, you wouldn't trade him.
Would he even be Ayton? Would he even be DeAndre Ayton?
No, I don't think they would have traded
if they thought he was going to
be Ayton.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I don't even think Ayton's he's good.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. Is he a top 2 player? No. He's top 3, 4, somewhere in there. Like I agree with you. I don't think they think that. Or else you don't do that.
No,
certainly
exactly.
for what they did. I mean, it's not
Shades
like
of Anthony Randolph.
I mean, they did not. They did not. I love
GP
the
culture,
too,
Willard? Because we now know there was no relationship between Kuminga and Dre, and I'm sitting over here watching Warrior games thinking it's, oh my God, it's a Brady Bunch on the road. These guys are all kicking it and doing whatever. How you doing, youngster? Let me help you. So if that didn't happen with Kuminga, it damn sure didn't happen with James Wiseman.
Well,
I'm not making an excuse for Wiseman, but dude, propping youngsters up and making them feel a part. Now, if all the reports are true, the OGs were like, why are you even here? You should have been something else.
Look,
I'm just saying, no excuses for Wiseman, but I don't know exactly if that was the place for James to be. And he probably on nights felt like he wasn't welcome. I'm just saying, no excuses.
Not. I mean, there's certainly something to be said about Draymond Green, who now has, with 3 young players in the organization, he punched one of them. Then publicly admitted that he had essentially no relationship with another one. And then if you go back to James Wiseman, even back to the pup stages when he was yelling at him on the court, and then he got traded, there are questions there for sure. There's also different kinds of leadership, and NBA locker rooms often do sort of a good cop, bad cop thing, right? Like, you be the hard leader, I'll be the soft leader, and the Warriors have that. They have Steph Curry, right? That's a soft leader. Draymond's a hard one. Did he overdo it? No question about it. But I also don't want to speak too much on like what he was to Wiseman and Kuminga because we don't really know. Every relationship's different. Yeah. So I'll put it this way. I'm not ready to say Draymond's bad for young players. Like across the board.
I'll say this.
He was bad for Jordan.
For Draymond and Kuminga, this is a big year for Draymond.
Agreed.
In terms of hey, JK, the first time that JK dribbles it off his knee when Steph is open from 3, Draymond's going to have to throw an arm around him as opposed to, mother, father, what the blank are you doing?
It's a huge year for Kuminga.
It's a huge year for Draymond in terms of
how so? And he just
in
got
terms of
4
how
years.
he's going to lead. Because if you want to be a championship team this year, you're going to need Moody and Kuminga. You're going to need maybe a sprinkle of Podziemski. Yeah. And whoever you're going to need something from some young player because you got the 6 OGs and then you got Looney and you got K-Wig. You're going to need something from somebody who's under the age of 25. And Draymond, you can't run around acting like you did toward Jordan Poole this year or you're not going to win again.
But these words I'm about to mention came out of Dre's mouth about the addition of Chris Paul. Like he almost, and I know he's not saying you're assigned Chris Paul to Jonathan Kuminga, but it was almost refreshing from Dre's standpoint. The CP3 might take on that Jonathan Kuminga account, and I was like, wow. So
and
that
also
means you would have never cracked the code.
Draymond looking to be taught about how to lead. I thought that was a little piece of humility that surprised me. Draymond, like, I'm looking forward to CP, showing me what he did for DeAndre Ayton.
Here's where I'm going to leave you guys.
Oh, come on.
Because there's one other topic.
This is too hot for you to leave.
Man, first show in 6 days.
I was hoping we
could.
There's a reason.
Still can't.
We haven't even gotten to my 85 on Sunday yet.
Or my bloody nose.
What happened?
I heard that story.
Yeah, no.
You know what stunk about that story is I pulled up at home and it wasn't over yet, and I don't have a driveway, so I can't have a driveway moment. The dog needed to get out of the car, so I never got the end of that story.
Odyssey app.
Got a couple minutes, Steiny. Come
You gotta
on.
get on
I'll
that
scroll
app.
back on YouTube later tonight when I'm bored. All right.
I'm sure you guys are going to talk about Shohei Otani.
Sure
Oh
are.
my gosh.
And I was telling Goo, when I think about moves you can make, I always think, what's the worst case scenario?
Well, that's easy, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, the worst case scenario is he's here 2 months and then he leaves.
10 weeks.
Right.
10 weeks.
The
We went
worst
through this
is
all day
decimated.
yesterday.
The risk, of course, is, and again, this depends on the price. The risk is you obliterate the farm, and then he's in the Dodgers opening day lineup next season.
Man.
Come on.
If
That's
that
the worst
happens,
That's the booby prize.
If-
Who would do that?
if that happens,
That's what we're saying. You can't have that.
Yes, you have set your organization back 4 years.
Well, and also there will be a reputational. That would be something like.
That's tough.
I mean, they'd almost
Scared
be
money
a little
don't
bit
make
of,
none.
No,
No,
it'd almost be a
look at
little
Dibs.
laughing
Thank you.
stock.
I'm-
a little laughing stock.
I'm ready to
Dodger
take that
fan.
risk, but not at 5 of your
Okay.
top
Gotcha. No doubt.
prospects. Not that.
And last
That's
thing about what
stupid.
Not
Steiny just said,
five,
I
not
was thinking,
6.
you guys think I'm playing. Stanton, that was a godsend. He didn't come, but the Giants were in a hotel in L.A. trying to serenade him. Judge, I look at Judge like you missed out because he wouldn't be hurt if he were in a Giant uniform. But other than that,
Bryce Harper?
Correa didn't say no. He just got hurt. I mean, the
Giants said no.
People are putting that in the column like they fit. No, that was one they got. They secured the
I
account.
appreciate you because this guy's
He's
been
never
trying.
done nothing.
He's trying to poke at every time we have this conversation. Does Correa play for the Giants or not?
He does.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
doesn't.
No, I know, but
He ain't doing
But you're so right because the narrative has become people won't say yes to the Giants.
And he did.
and Carlos
Yeah,
did.
he did.
You are 100%
Yeah.
correct.
Come on.
Bottom line, and this is where Mark gets a little bit upset because he's pro Farhan more than I. And the Gabe Kapler
It's not
hamburger
even
video is going
Farhan.
to come out today.
Yeah,
that was
I mean,
unbelievable.
gotta-
Farhan's
gotta-
idea has never
obviously.
signed any player to longer than a 3-year deal.
Wow.
And these are facts.
Okay.
But you know what? Believe it or not, just
Facts
because
can get uncomfortable.
That's great.
I
Thank you.
actually do not subscribe to the belief that the Giants cannot they have no shot at Otani. Why? Why do they have no
course.
shot?
Because Bryce Harper was in there too, even though he wasn't leaving.
no.
I thought he might be coming.
Harper's. If you look at all the supposed second places, that's the one that should hurt you.
Dude,
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. A, he's been really good. I know some injuries, but he's been an excellent ball player in Philadelphia. And number 2, the only reason you lost because you got outbid. You got outbid. You just let them outbid you.
And I don't think about
The Yankees. He wasn't leaving the Yankees. They
Yeah.
didn't get outbid.
No.
Right? They just
He wasn't
flat
leaving.
out looked
Yes.
at Bryce and let
Yeah.
Philly do 330 when they did 305.
Judge wasn't leaving, and
Yeah.
Stanton might have been a godsend, and Correa said yes, but then the Giants said no. I'm not big on the cannot, just the have not. He
No
has.
doubt.
They have
Okay.
not.
That's
And-
fair.
That's
But
bottom
I
line.
think
That's fair.
I think the best way
they're
that they
lacking a
get
star right
Otani,
now.
the best way to get Otani is get him early for 10 weeks, and then he knows you.
But what? Yeah, Dibs. That's
I
like
think
At what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost? And my question,
Yeah.
What
which
cost?
did you guys play the Bobby Evans sound or not?
No.
No,
Okay.
we're saving Otani for tomorrow.
Okay,
too.
Bob. Well, it'll be
Nice.
dead by then because we're going to crush it. But anyway,
Different demographic.
Yeah, you're right. Yours is older. Anyway, no.
Wow.
Bobby Evans started to potentially put my argument yesterday in its place because my question is getting him early helps how much? Now, if you tell me it helps 5%, that's not enough for me to give you 5 prospects.
Okay.
If you tell me it changes it from a 20% chance to an 80% chance, you can have the whole River Cats team.
Yep.
I am interested,
Sacramento.
right? Like I am interested in 10 years, not 10 weeks.
Tomorrow, Dibs, because Steiny propped you up. I didn't say it. A lot of people were saying Curry's incredible, perfect life, but how far is he from being a pro? And I'm not being. He said you would break
How many
that
people
down
have to
for
tell
us.
you he's
Pro
far?
what?
No, but you said Dibs was saying it
We
in a
had
different
Peter
way.
Jacobson on yesterday.
Oh.
And we asked him this question, and Peter
Being a pro
Jacobson
with
said he
Curry.
could absolutely
For what?
be a pro.
Golf. Oh,
I know. I'm kidding with you.
He could absolutely be a
Listen.
pro on the Champions Tour when he
Okay.
turns
All right,
50.
all right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He tried to play in the AAA version of the PGA Tour, and he finished 14 shots out of the cut line. last time in Hayward at TPC
Oh,
Stonebridge.
wow, okay.
Shout out my good friends at TPC
Yes,
Stonebridge.
sir.
Steiny and I played there. It's a wind trap. It's brutal. Steph Curry shot a 73 and an 85. He was dead last, as we like to say, DFL, dead finishing last, in a AAA golf event. Now, he's better now than he was 5 years ago, but he is still probably 12 shots away from even making a cut.
Okay.
And 20 shots away from winning a tour event, let alone winning the Masters.
Because I was telling Steiny, everywhere I read and look, they were saying, could he play? Like it was legit. What about the 2-on-2?
If you put the PGA Tour with the setup they had this week, if you put the PGA Tour at Edgewood.
I lived it, Mark.
If you put it at Edgewood,
now you okay.
the winner would probably have to shoot 463s.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say
In a row.
All right,
If you ranked every golfer on the planet right now, Steph Curry's probably 4,711.
All right, I got you. And he's not the one saying it. I was just hearing all the.
And you're right that the question's not fair yet because he spends his time working on basketball.
Correct.
Right? Like if he golfed,
If he devoted himself to being a golf pro,
Damn.
he would have a hard time making it on the PGA Tour.
Right. My feeling
I don't think
is
he would make the PGA Tour at all. He might make the
The
AAA.
web, yeah.
Well, to me,
Corn Ferry, yeah.
to me, it's that, because we do have some examples of this. If he retires at 40 and spends 10 years on his golf game, I would not bet against him to play in the Legends.
Agreed.
The champions, exactly.
But I'd be really interested in is, what if he would have devoted as much time to golf as he did to basketball? Then would he be a PGA Tour
Funny you
great?
say that
I'd
because
still bet against that.
yes,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
Peter Jacobson, who joined us yesterday on Willard and Dibs in 5 o'clock hour, Odyssey app, don't miss it. He actually said that because Steph played as a kid, gives him a better chance to make something happen on the Champions Tour. So I think that if Steph never would have realized that he had the wetter, he might have had a chance because his hand-eye is so
It's
good. And
his
6'3".
his touch, his hands are obviously they're unbelievable.
God, those hands.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry,
who's-
that got
I mean, seriously, who's to say?
I had an HR incident before the show in the
Seriously,
green room. Sorry.
who's to say that if Steph Curry, from the moment he picked up a golf club instead, who's to say he might not be Tiger Woods?
I think he's a pro golfer. I don't know if he's Tiger.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying.
There's only one of me.
I don't think he'd have a home in
And we
Atherton.
brought
Let's put it that way.
we brought up best athletes ever. And it was, you can't be a master of your own sport. You got to have the crossover.
And you
That's
guys
why
both
Bo and
missed the
Dion.
correct answer. Babe Diedrichson Zaharias
Oh,
is the
everybody
correct
always
answer.
says that. Every
Thank you.
time
You
that
gotta
comes
Google
up.
her.
Jim
Thank
Thorpe.
you.
Jim Thorpe on the phone.
Thorpe couldn't handle her golf bag.
Who are you?
Thank you. I had to back out of that one.
I know everybody laughs. Don't laugh at Danny Ainge.
No, John Elway too.
Oh, great one. That's one we
Yeah,
forgot.
thank you.
All right, gents. Well, listen, it's great to see you.
Wonderful to see
Have a
both of
great,
you gentlemen.
I'll
You're
tell you the
both
story
looking
tomorrow.
very well.
Yeah, the bloody nose tomorrow.
Yeah, please do. I need the end of that.
All right.
What a tease.